Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. Morning to everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, how you doing, Jordan? You're right, and how's it going?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. The weekend is here, and the football is eventually going to arrive. In this, obviously, is deadline stream for Gameweek 8, and yeah, there is a lot. Obviously, going forward, with this a lot of chips activated, and most of us are wild carding, and yeah, I'm very excited to see what Gameweek 8 brings with this wild card.
Yeah, of course. Both of us are on a wild card. Um, I've activated mine, as you guys know, early this week. I think I did it on Monday, and yeah, we're gonna next hour or so. We're gonna discuss any changes we've made. I think you've made a change, and yeah, discuss what we're looking like on the wild card. So yeah, guys, for all who's coming in, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. We've got Harry in the chat. Um, but yeah,
Hello, Harry.
let's actually discuss what's going on with the teams. Um, as you guys can see, I'm on the wild card. Um, there's been no changes for my team so far. I'm still on what I originally had early was it Thursday when I did the team selection. So in goal I've got Ariola. Back three I've gone Dan Burn, Matty Cash, and Pedro Porro. Midfield five I've gone Salah, Madison, Diaby, Neto, and Son. And then up top I've gone Haaland and Watkins as well. So that completes the team. And then on the bench I've got Strakoshka, Archer, Gabriel, and Taylor to make up the bench. Um, we'll do the same for you. Um, talk us through your team. Any changes as well?
So yeah, there's one or two changes for my team. Obviously, you might notice the goalkeeper. I did have Johnston. If you guys watched the last stream, I've now replaced him with Leno, who has Sheffield United at home. And I just wanted to swap goalkeepers again because I realised Sheffield United is a fixture to target, and why not pick a goalkeeper that has obviously this fixture in Game Week 8? So I have gone with that now for the replacement goalkeeper. The back three, Udogi, Luton away, Luka Dean at Wolves away, and Trippier, who has West Ham away. That's unchanged. In the midfield, there is a slight variation. So we've got Madison, Son, who have both Luton away, Bone, who has Newcastle at home, and Mbeumo, who has Man United away. Now, the slight changes, I have gone from a midfield 5 to a midfield 4. And the reason being is, which I'll move on to, is obviously the forwards. There's 3 forwards now in my team, and that is Darwin, who is the added new addition, who's got Brighton away, Watkins, who's got Wolves away, and Haaland, who's got Arsenal away. And yeah, I've included the front 3, and I've gone with Darwin as a newly added forward, and downgraded the midfield spot, which is Andreas, who is on my bench, who has Sheffield United at home. And the rest of my bench, we've got Ariola, who has Newcastle at home, Brantford, I hope I'm saying this right,
Branthwaite. Yeah, Branthwaite.
who has Bournemouth at home, and Taylor, who has Chelsea at home. And my captain is Haaland this week, who has Arsenal away, and the vice is on Son, who has Luton away.
Okay, nice one. So yeah, interesting change. Taking out, was it Foden, wasn't it, for Darwin pretty much?
Yeah, it was a swap from Foden to Darwin. Just because of how many injuries Liverpool sustained, and Darwin that's set to start pretty much while those injuries are obviously in place. So I've gone with better fixtures as well for Liverpool over Man City, where their fixtures are much more tougher.
Yeah, Darwin's an interesting pick that you've gone with. Going 3 up top. I like that front 3. Obviously Darwin, we expect him to start against Brighton. And yeah, I think it is a good fixture for Darwin. And yeah, I like the team, man. We'll get a few questions in. Just switch it over back to my team. Just gonna quickly zoom in. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Messes up. Can you see that a bit better? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we've got Harry with a comment here. Start Hoyland or Diaby. Logic says Diaby, but I'm a massive fan of Hoyland and I'm a United fan just like Jordan.
Yeah, when I woke up this morning, I had a funny feeling of Hoyden came to my mind when I was looking at my fantasy team, and I thought, do I go there? I best not because of how Man United are playing at the moment, and because of things. But it has popped into my mind. Hoyden could be because he was
impressed.
quite. Yeah, I was impressed with him in the Champions League. He showed really good quality in that game, and I think that's why it was popped into my head when I looked at my fantasy team and changing my forwards over like I did with Darwin. But no, I think I'm not going to be tempted by it starting Hoyland or even having Hoyland. So I'll probably go Diaby.
Yeah, of course. I watched that Champions League game. Was it Man United v Galatasaray? I know Man United lost 3-2 in the end, but Hoyland was the only player that could kind of go away with that game and with a positive. I thought Hoyland played brilliantly. He could have had a hat trick. Or he scored an offside goal, and the second goal was really nice. He showed a bit of pace on the halfway line, and it didn't think the goalie very calmly was nice as well. So yeah, he's one option. I mean, Man United do have is it Burnley? Is it Burnley this week? No, it's not. Is it
no,
Brentford? Sorry.
Brentford.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a sort of a tough fixture. I feel like Burnley, Brentford. Sorry, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of an upset on the cards because Brentford, we've seen they've given Man United a few tough games previous season. So I'm not sure. I still think I'll start Hoyland though because Diaby does have a flag currently, and it's not 100% if Diaby's going to start because he's got a back injury. So I'll probably take the risk, play Hoyland.
I think that's the answer I was going to give to FPL agent for the recommendation for. Oh no, sorry, no, forget that. I completely misread that comment. Sorry.
FPL agent actually does have a comment. Jordan, I would highly recommend you go for cash in for Luca Dean. What'd you say to that? Let me just put it back to your team.
Yeah, I could go go cash. The reason why I picked Luca Dean is he's a differential, and they basically almost share the amount of attack and returns between each other. And Luca Dean, with his ownership being differential, and cash is more of a popular template pick. I just wanted to go a bit different, going with Luca Dean, and he is a bit cheaper, Luca Dean, as well compared to cash. And I figured maybe Luca Dean is just as good as having Matty Cash, but just less owned and cheaper.
Okay, so what do you make of those people that say about Alex Moreno though? Because Alex Moreno is injured currently. He could come back, maybe take Luca Dean's position, and I know I've seen some concerns in that regard as well. Or have you not really? You don't really mind just keeping him and playing the differential pick?
Yeah, I don't mind playing differential picker. If that's the case, then I could always take out obviously Luca Dean if I need to next week, if that becomes an issue. But I think for now it should be absolutely fine playing Luca Dean. Obviously, we have to see.
All right, Ali Mack with a comment. Hi, both Kulusevski or Diaz for a 1 week punt. I'd be going to, I think Diaz. I know Kulusevski's got a better fixture against Luton, but I'd be backing Son and Madison in that one. So I wouldn't want too much Spurs coverage. I'd rather have some Liverpool assets as well. And I think Diaz on a 1 week punt. I believe Diaz's ownership is under 10% as well. So I like the Diaz shout personally. But if you've not got Madison, then Kulusevski's a better pick. It depends how many Spurs players you have. I think if you've got Son Madison, I wouldn't want to triple up on a Spurs midfielder. For me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, News Diaz's ownership is 9.6%, so it's just under 10.
Jenny Berry with a comment. Hi guys, would you start Udoji or Romero? I think it's quite simple for me. I'm starting Udoji.
Yeah, I'll go with the same. Udogi seems like the better start to go with. I mean, I know Romero scored and got other attacking returns, but we did mention this a few weeks ago that he won't get this every week, and Udogi seems more likely to, from obviously his attacking threat he delivers.
Yeah, just more attacking threat with going with Udogi, and I think there's more chance of an assist. I know, like I said, Romero scored, but going forward, I'd expect more returns from Udogi, so that's what I'd be going with that. Captain Alvarez or Erdegaard is an interesting comment as well. Uh, I don't think I'll be captaining Odegaard, if I'm being honest. I don't expect. I think it's going to be a tough game for Arsenal against Man City, so I wouldn't like to captain Odegaard. Alvarez, if I had to pick out of those two, but they would not be in my mind for a captaincy. I think if you want to go Man City, I still play it safe, go Haaland. But as you can see from my team, just switching it back over, I've got the captain's armband on Son, who's got Luton away, but that could easily switch to Salah, who's got Brighton away. So I think Salah and Son are better captaincy options than Alvarez and Odegaard for me. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be captaining either. Jordan, obviously, there's a lot of talk regarding captaincy this week because Son has such a nice fixture. Salah against Brighton as well. People are looking at. You've gone Haaland against Arsenal. Are you going to stick on that, or what's your thinking again behind the captaincy move?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick going captain Haaland. Obviously, I see goals in this fixture coming from both sides, and I almost half expected it coming from Haaland as well because we've seen him this season so far. I know he blanked last game against Wolves, but that's the danger that Haaland possesses because he can now score a hat trick potentially and have a shocker of a game. Considering how hard the fixture is, Arsenal, it's not going to be easy, obviously at the Emirates, but that is the risk that I'm still not willing to take, and taking the captaincy off of Haaland just in case he manages to score maybe 2 or maybe 3 goals behind Arsenal, which is very unlikely because I think it will be a low scoring game, but it's still unpredictable what Haaland can do, even with the amount of touches he gets each game week.
Yeah, I think I might do a little poll and see what the consensus is around the captaincy picks. Are you going to go Haaland, Son, or Salah? Because I think those are the 3 popular picks to captain this week. Actually, I'll read this one first. Saka to Son, and Buemo to Kulusevski, and Estupinian to Castagni for a -4. I mean, I don't know about that one. I mean, let's see. Saka to Son. That could be fine, but it looks like Saka's actually back. Yeah, I think Arteta actually said, hey, he could be in contention to start, which not a surprise because that's what Arteta seems to do every week. He says Saka's injured, but then he starts playing. And Buemo to Kulu's not bad. I don't know Castagna if I'd do him in. I'd rather go to like a Matty Cash, I think, or a Tottenham defender.
Yeah, because Fulham do have Sheffield United, so I see why you want to target Castagna for this week because you expect a clean sheet, obviously against Sheffield United because they are literally the fixture to target because they don't really score, and there's likely a clean sheet in there.
Yeah, I think that the defenders to target for me are like the likes of the Tottenham defender, like a Porro or a Udogi, if you don't have them, or even a Matty Cash or Luca Dean in Jordan's case, who are the popular transfers in. But yeah, it could work. FPL, it could work. Oase with a comment. If you had to get rid of one of Rashford or Bruno for Madison, who would it be? I'll let you take that one first, Jordan.
Yeah, Rashford or Bruno. Yeah, I think I'll still keeping Rashford and getting rid of Bruno. Even though Bruno's on penalties, I still feel like there is some, in terms of open play, I think Rashford can still be dangerous in this position. Obviously, he could have potentially had a return, but it went out to play the ball. But yeah, I still would side towards Rashford over Bruno, even though Bruno could arguably is looking slightly better on form. I still think Rashford is the better pick between them two.
Yeah, the reason why I'd prefer I'd prefer Rashford. I think obviously there's now Højlund playing up front. We saw in the Champions League against Galatasaray, Rashford did get an assist for that cross for Højlund's first goal, which is showing a bit of improvement in that sense, getting an assist. And I still think Rashford has a better open play goal threat. I think he's more likely to get a goal over a Bruno. I know Bruno's on the pens and whatnot, but I still think if I had to pick, I'd hold Rashford over Bruno. Damien, I have decided to have a bit of fun and decided selling Haaland on my wild card during the week. Am I insane? I've seen a few people actually now have sold Haaland, which is mad. Yeah, I think you're mad. I wouldn't want to go there, but I don't know. Like, would you sell Haaland as it considered your mind? Because it's not for me. It's not the case.
Absolutely not. I'm even hesitant for even going against captain Haaland, let alone selling Haaland out of my team.
Yeah,
because he has dropped a bit. I mean, he's 89% ownership, but that's only 3% of people have got rid of Haaland. So there's going to be still an effective high ownership over Haaland, I think, going forward this game week, even though he has Arsenal away. It will be low in previous week, but it will still be dangerously high if he gets anything.
Yeah, I've not considered it myself. I've seen some teams with a front three of like Alvarez, Watkins, Darwin. I've seen that, but I don't think Alvarez can cover Haaland, if I'm being honest. I know Alvarez has been really good so far this season, but I don't think it's enough coverage for Man City. So, no, I'm not willing to go with that Haaland. But if you have gone with that Haaland, guys, let us know in the chat, and I do hope it goes well for you. Yeah, hopefully it does work out for those guys that are brave enough to go there. Harry says, any issues in the starting 11? Turner, Cash, Udoji, Trippier, Diaz, Salah, Son, Bruno. I'm assuming that's Bruno Fernandes, Watkins, Alvarez, Højlund. For me, straight away, I mean, it's not a wildcard team, is it? It's just your normal team, I'm assuming. Do you see any issues there, Jordan, or do you think it looks fine?
Yeah, I think it looks fine. I mean, Højlund is a different pick to go for. I'm not going to completely go against that pick because I think Højlund has a decent chance to obviously replicate what he did in the Champions League and maybe potentially get something out of that Brentford game. So, yeah, I'm not going to completely go past Højlund pick. And the rest of the team looks completely fine. I mean, you have double Man United, which is pretty brave, Harry, going forward with double Man United, because a lot of people probably don't have any Man United or have one still asset. So, yeah, that will be interesting how Man United do in that Brentford game, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably take out Bruno, if I'm being honest. I'd probably do Bruno to Maddison, and that will give you enough money a bit in the bank as well. So I think Bruno to Maddison is a move that I'd make if I was in your situation, Harry. Away says, is it okay to start Bayer at home to Chelsea? Or do I take it a further -8 to get something like cash wildcard kept to game week 9 or 10? I'll probably start Bayer. I wouldn't take a -8 if I'm being honest. I don't think it's worth taking a -8 to bring in another defender, personally. Dan the Man says, morning guys, and Haaland and Burn or Watkins and Trippier. Or what do you think? What is one?
That's a tough one, that is. I have to go Haaland and Burn, even though I'd like Trippier as well, because Trippier is a bit dangerous now around his ownership. But I think Haaland is even more dangerous going without him. So I'm going to side to Haaland and Dan Burn. At least you've got Newcastle cover if there is a clean sheet for them.
We've had this debate on the wild card, draft. So you can't have Haaland, Salah, Son, and Trippier and have a good team. It's basically impossible unless your budget is crazy. So, those 4 players, Haaland, Salah, Son, Trippier, I've chosen to go without Trippier, basically, and Jordan's gone without Salah. So you do have to make a sacrifice in that sense. I mean, Haaland's Haaland, so a lot of us won't be willing to go against him. Son, he's got the fixtures, he's got the form as well, he's got the goals. Trippier, as we've seen, has got 30 points in the last 2 game weeks, and Salah, on the other hand, has returned in every game bar one, which we know he was slightly robbed in that game. So all options have their pros and cons, but you essentially got to decide to leave one of those guys out, and we've gone different. I mean, you've left out Salah, and yeah, like I said, I've left out Trippier. Hizami also says, "Good morning, guys. Please like the stream and don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel so much." Yeah, thank you for that, Hizami. Please do like the stream, guys, if you are watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you're new around here. Stefan with a comment: Almiron and Ward Prowse or Diaby and Neto on a wild card. Good luck with this game week. I mean, for me, it's quite easy. If I'm being honest. I'm going Diaby and Neto. I don't know what you're going to say.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to go Almiron and Ward Prowse.
Really?
Yeah, I see more. I think I see more upside with Almiron and Ward Prowse. I mean, Almiron, I expect him to play as well. Ward Prowse, he's been decent so far this season. West Ham have shown massive improvement, and he's pretty much slotted in like Maddison has for Spurs. So Ward Prowse is a nice pick to go for if you can't get to Bowen. And you've got cover for Newcastle as well, considering their fixtures are not so bad either. I mean, obviously they got West Ham, and Ward Prowse plays against him, but I'm sure there's going to be goals in both sides of that game, and maybe Almiron and Ward Prowse can get a part of that action. So yeah, I think that.
Now, I'm just saying, for me, like Almiron as a pick, I think he's a decent pick. Don't get me wrong. At 6.3 million, he is cheaper than Diaby, but I just find Almiron is a bit of a streaky player. Like when he goes on a run, he scores a lot of goals, but then sometimes he'll have a barren run where he'll go 6-7 games without getting anything. So it's quite hard to predict when Miguel Almiron's going to score. Ward Prowse, I think, is a good pick. He's returning quite nicely so far this season. Obviously on set pieces for West Ham, he's been a big signing for them so far. Diaby, on the other hand, again, as you guys can see, Diaby's on my team. He's on my wild card. I know he's flagged currently, but I'm hoping that he's fit. And the Aston Villa fixtures for me is why I've gone Diaby. As you guys know, they've got the nice fixtures. It's Wolves, it's West Ham, it's Luton, it's Forest, and then Fulham after that. So yeah, I'd like to back Diaby for this one, and see what he does. And Neto again is, if you've got Salah, then you're going to need a cheap midfielder in there to enable you to keep Salah. So Neto for me is a nice little pick at his price, 5.7 million. I think he offers good value for money, and I really like the Neto pick. So just to go back to that question, where was it from Stefan? Almiron, Ward Prowse. Yeah, I think Diaby and Neto. I mean, I've got both Diaby and Neto, so for me, that's the way I'd be going. Hizami, I am selling Estupinian for Tarkovsky for 1 week punt, hitting my wild card after today's deadline. Tarkovsky.
Interesting. Everton defender.
Yeah, I mean, Everton have Bournemouth, which looks like a good fixture on paper, I guess, but I don't expect a clean sheet from Everton, if I'm being honest, unless you do.
No, I don't. I think Solanke or someone like Vinning could potentially score in that game. So I don't see a clean sheet either. Or, I mean, Everton. I think the only clean sheet I can see for Everton is when they play Sheffield United. And
even then,
even then, that could be a bit of a funny fixture. But I don't see a likelihood of a clean sheet from Everton so far this season.
Have they kept the clean sheet, Everton? I'm just trying to. They haven't, have they? No, they haven't.
They've conceded to every team that they've played against, whether it's home or away.
Yeah, obviously, as a Pickford owner, I felt the wrath of Pickford. No clean sheets in 7. So yeah, I think I wouldn't want to bank on Everton keeping one this week. Who would sell 8 goals in 7 games? Haaland from Barnsley. That is very true. Haaland, no matter what we think of Haaland, he's already got 8 goals in 7 matches. So and 1 assist. So it is very difficult going without Haaland. And the fixtures, yes, people will say it's Arsenal, but we've seen last season, game week 9, I believe, when everyone went Salah, or some people went Salah, and then Haaland had Man United and he put a hat-trick past them. So he can go score a hat-trick against Arsenal. He's that good, but it's, that's the risk we take when we play FPL, trying to get that small advantage. And sometimes to be different, we like to back against the popular pick, I guess. But yeah, let us know if you are going with that Haaland, guys.
I think it does depend also on whose wins take a risk, depending on where your rank is also. Because where my rank is currently, I don't think I'll want to take the risk because obviously it's the overall rank has a play in all our teams. And if your rank is considerably low, then I think you'll be more willing to take risks because you don't have to worry about repercussions of it going down further. Because the ultimate reason.
I mean, you still could. I mean, if you're sitting at 3 million rank and you don't captain Haaland, I mean, you could go to 5-6 million. So there is a bit of jeopardy in it, but I guess there is a bit of nothing to lose sort of mentality when you're not doing as well. But yeah, it is an interesting one. But I'm 100% certain that I'm not captaining Haaland. It's going to be Son or Salah for me this week to just go a bit different. I meant -4 already, took -4 to Bruno and Maddison.
This from an earlier comment. I think this was about the -8.
So yeah, taking another -4, basically to take a -8. No, I wouldn't do it.
No.
Jenny says start Sanchez or Flecken. Sanchez has. I'm just seeing who he has actually. Liverpool, doesn't he? No, sorry, not Liverpool. I completely forgot for a sec. He's got Burnley. Sanchez, obviously, at Chelsea, Burnley, and a Flecken has a United in it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, who are you starting? I think Sanchez for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's despite Chelsea did come off with a clean sheet against Fulham. That does give you a bit of confidence going with Sanchez, I guess. Whereas Burnley, so he should really get a clean sheet. Chelsea in that game.
Yeah. I think for me, Sanchez for Chelsea. Even though Chelsea aren't playing great this season, they don't concede many goals. To be honest, like they only concede 1 or 2 a game. So they're not a team that lets in loads of goals, but they're also a team that doesn't score many goals. That's the problem with Chelsea. Elliot says, hi, hello guys. -4 to get Son in, wildcard in Gameweek 9. I think you could take a -4 to get Son in. I think that's worth it for Son. I'd probably do it. But in regards to your wildcard question, I probably wouldn't wildcard in Gameweek 9. I think Gameweek 10 makes more sense if you're not gonna do it in Gameweek 8. I think Gameweek 10 after the international break is where I'd like to go. So that's what I'd be doing anyway. If I don't wildcard this week, hold out till 10. And there's a bit of a nicer fixture swing in 10 as well. Morning, lad, says Harry. Morning to you, Harry. Hope you're well. Also, guys, if you are dropping into the stream, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed as well if you're new around here. Really helps support the channel, as always. Michael with a comment, Onana or Areola, Jordan? Who are you playing? Areola against Newcastle. Onana has Brentford.
Well, you're playing Areola against Newcastle at home. So what do you see a clean sheet for Areola?
I actually don't see a clean sheet for Areola here. But I'm playing him because I've got, as you see, I've got Strakoschka on the bench who's not going to start. So if I had to pick between those guys, I still probably play. I think I'd play Onana. It's a tough one to say. I mean, Areola could get you save points against Newcastle. He might concede, but still come away with like a 4-pointer. So, you know what? I'm going to say play Areola because I think Man United will concede. So, yeah, I would probably sell Onana if I had him at this rate. Was he 5.5 million as well, isn't he?
I think Onana. Let me just check. I think he's.
Because I know a lot of managers went for Onana at the start of the season, in Game Week 1, and I'm glad I didn't go there.
He started off as 5 million, but he's 4.9 million. He has a price drop.
Yeah. Fabian Schär, 30-foot screamer coming, says Elliot. Obviously, Fabian Schär scored a brilliant goal against PSG in the Champions League. For those that haven't seen it, go check it out. Brilliant goal. But yeah, I mean, Fabian Schär, he's cashing in the XG. Michael said last week I should keep Rashford. Should I still keep him? Again, Michael, it depends on your team and your sentiment around Man United. one of the main reasons why I wildcarded is because I had frustrating players in my team like Rashford and Sterling who I lost faith in. So I hit the wildcard button. If you can get to a Son, I'd definitely do Rashford to Son or Rashford to Madison. I think are great moves. Um, so those are moves that I like to do myself. So if it depends really, whether you keep Rashford, it depends on your wildcard scenario. If you're going to wildcard in game week 10, then I'd probably keep Rashford because he's got. You look at Rashford next. It is Burnley, isn't it? Sorry, Brentford in game week 8. Game week 9, Rashford has Sheffield. So next week, when a lot of us have got rid of Rashford, Rashford is going to be sold on every wildcard there is. Rashford's got a really nice fixture on paper against Sheffield away. Now, again, it depends whether you think Man United assets are good or not. Like some people have lost faith in Man United assets completely, like myself and even Jordan. But if you're just playing it on fixtures, then Rashford could be a good pick. But yeah, I wouldn't have Rashford on a wild card. That's for sure. But yeah, what would you make of Rashford, Jordan? Would you still keep him when he's got Sheffield next week, which is a nice fixture? But yeah, as I've said, it all depends on your wild card, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, it does become depending on your wild card, obviously in your team. But if I had Rashford up to this point, I'll probably still keep him at least until that Sheffield United fixture. And if I'm still displeased in that Sheffield United game where he's either had a blank or whatnot, even if he did score, I think I'll still after that game look to remove him. I think if you're planning whether it's a wild card or a transfer after that Sheffield United fixture.
Yeah. I agree. If you're not on a wild card, then you'd rather take out the likes of Sterling, etc., rather than a Rashford. I think. Brian says, "Hi lads. This is aside from comparing teams and all that, but when comparing wildcard weeks, if two are close, isn't there an advantage with holding it in the fact that any injuries could happen?" Yeah, I mean, this is a fair comment from Brian. You could make two different teams. Do a game week 8 wildcard team and then game week 10, and then you can compare what your teams would look like if you are wildcarding in 10. I think the main question comes down to, it is team dependent. And I think the reason why I've gone wildcard is I had no Watkins, I had no Matty Cash, I had no Newcastle defender, I had Rashford in my team, I had Sterling. So I had too many things I didn't really like about my team. But on the other hand, some people might look at Man United assets and think, you know what, Rashford and Bruno are fine against Brentford and Sheffield. What do you think, Jordan? You've watched Man United this season. Rashford and Bruno, would you think they can get their returns, against the next two fixtures, Brentford and Sheffield? Or yeah, I mean, I don't have faith in them personally. That's why I've got rid of them. So
Wow, I don't really see it in the Brentford game. I think I more see it in the Sheffield United fixture, which is the one that you would expect Man United to do really well in, just because of how poor Sheffield United have been so far this season as a new promoted team, and Man United being considered in the top 5 teams in the Premier League should be a game that they should win comfortably. But again, Man United have shown that they haven't convincingly won a game with good form. They've won it with either fortune or just an advantage over where they've managed to get chances and obviously score them, where the other team hasn't. It's had many chances, but unfortunately hasn't been able to score and obviously get past Man United. So I think it depends how you look at it. I think from Man United's perspective, do you still go on it and see if they can get something out of that game with poor form, or do you see it where the form may shockingly change just because the fixture they have is pretty easy, because they did struggle against Burnley. To be fair, they could have drew easily against them.
yeah.
So it all depends what you think of that Sheffield United game.
Yeah, Roman also with a comment. Hi lads, I'm happy with my wild card. Only thing is to ask is currently I got Turner and Areola as my goalkeepers when I have 5 million for a goalkeeper. Is there any goalkeepers to look for? To be honest, mate, I would keep the goalkeepers you have. I'd keep Areola and Turner and go cheap on the goalies. I don't like having an expensive goalie because, as you see, sometimes when the budget is tight and you might be 0.1 or 0.2 off a player. I'd hate to be in that position where it's tied up in an expensive goalkeeper like an Onana or whatnot. So yeah, I'd just go Areola. I think with Areola, he's got a tough fixture against Newcastle this weekend. We don't expect a clean sheet, but he's one of those goalkeepers that you just got to play him 10 weeks in a row, and then he'll get you in one of those weeks, it will come randomly. It will be like a double-digit haul. I'm convinced. So if you've got Areola, just set and forget. Play him until he's injured or benched. So that's what my plan is with goalkeepers.
Yeah, I think expensive for goalkeepers worked really well at the start of the season, but now we get to this point, Gameweek 7, where obviously afterwards we're a bit discombobulated by the team and how it went, and performances, and now obviously the wild cards are in play, and because of we want expensive players like Salah, Son, Trippier, Watkins, and obviously these type of players, the goalkeeper switch is now gone to the cheapest ones to save that budget to bring in the more expensive players now. So yeah, there has been a slight swing in terms of going for cheap alternative goalkeepers who are getting outscoring and outpointing expensive goalkeepers like Edison, for example. For me, I did have Edison at 5.5 million, but now I'm starting to feel like he's too expensive. He's not getting many saves, like for the likes of Areola, who's cheaper and is.
Yeah, I think Areola is a good pick. And I'd be happy to just play him every week. Dan the Man with another comment. Also, just before I read this out, guys, if you are in the stream, please hit that like button. It really helps support the channel. Also, make sure you are subscribed as well if you're new around here. Dan the Man says, what do you think of Luis Diaz and Darwin? Can they cover Salah if you have both? Now, interesting question from Dan the Man. Now, obviously, one of the main chats surrounding this wild card, a lot of people have actually activated the wild card in Game Week 8 to bring Salah in because, that's one of the reasons why I went to get Salah in. But to answer your question very shortly, I'm not sure, if I'm being honest, if they can cover Salah. However, I do believe both of those guys are great options. Now, Luis Diaz is expected to start, and Darwin, I'm pretty certain, will start as well because Liverpool don't really have any other options right now other than Diaz, Darwin, and Mo, due to the fact that Jota is suspended, I believe, for one game, so he will miss the game against Brighton after that double yellow card against Tottenham, and we know Gakpo is going to miss. He's going to miss the next 2 games, I believe, and Klopp has actually mentioned that Gakpo isn't expected to be back till after the international break. So for the next couple of games, Darwin is nailed. I mean, you've gone without Salah. Do you believe Darwin can cover it? Because you probably do. I'm just bringing your team back. Do you think Darwin is good enough to, combat not having Salah?
Yeah, I absolutely think he can be. I think that's the reasoning why I've brought Darwin in, so he can cover for Salah if obviously Liverpool do put some goals behind them. I do expect Darwin to score or get an assist from these fixtures coming up. And at 12.3% ownership, I think it's a decent differential, almost a differential to go for over Salah, who's obviously more owned in teams. So he could be a nice rank gainer despite Salah potentially scoring or getting an assist. I still think Darwin has a little bit more upside because he is cheaper. He takes up a forward spot, so he's not taking up a midfielder spot because they are more popular picks. So yeah, I think at 7.4 million, Darwin's a great alternative if you can't fit in Salah.
Me personally, I'd like to have Salah and Darwin in the same team. I wouldn't want to go without Salah, but if you're looking for a double up, I like the Darwin pick. And as I mentioned previously on the other stream the other day, I actually think Darwin against Brighton could be a very, very nice fixture for him for a potential haul, due to the fact that style of striker he is. We've seen Brighton struggle against big physical strikers already this season with Antonio in their loss against West Ham, and also Ollie Watkins with his presence up front against Brighton in the 6-1 win for Villa. So Darwin's that similar mold of striker. So I'd expect a good game from Darwin, and with his pace, and also we're looking at Estupiñán being out. It looks like Lamptey is going to play a left back potentially, and in the Europa League, for those that didn't watch, Brighton played their first 11 on Thursday and they played 90 minutes. So that is one thing to consider as well when you're looking at Brighton this week, potentially going Salah captain. Obviously, Salah only played 45 minutes against Union on Thursday. He came off half time. And that's what I am actually looking at as well in terms of captaining Salah against Brighton. Is not completely out of my mind as well in regards to Liverpool. Fahid as well saying, "Hi guys, great stream. Love tuning in for my mornings. Thank you for that."
Thank you.
But any more questions? Jenny, thank you. Have a good week, everyone. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Nice to chat to you. Mark with a comment. Hi, thoughts on this wildcard team, please. Ariola, Turner, Cash, Udoji, Byrne, Gurhey, Taylor, Salah, Son, Madison, Willian, Clivert, Haaland, Watkins, Hoyland. Is there anything you'll change, or what do you think of this team?
Yeah, it's very different, especially with Willian. That's a very interesting pick because obviously Fulham have Sheffield United, and that could be a fixture where Willian does really well in as a 1 week punt. I'm assuming you've gone with that pick, Mark, because of the targeting. Sheffield United is not such a bad pick to go for. Obviously, Hoyland as well, another differential that we've seen in a few of the teams. Go with a Man United player in the Brentford game is very interesting, and I think a lot of people like the looks of Hoyland in that Champions League game against Galatasaray. So yeah, he's another great differential pick, especially with Sheffield United afterwards, after that Brentford game. And yeah, it looks really good set up for him in that fixture.
Yeah.
He's very interesting because I know that Crystal Palace have a few people out, as the likes of, I think, Mateta, Eze.
Eze's out. Eze out is a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a massive one. So I'm not. Yeah, Crystal Palace are a bit underwhelming, I think, in terms of their players they have. So I'm curious to see what that fixture will bring in terms of a clean sheet or not for Crystal Palace. But apart from that, I like the team, Mark. I like all the other picks. You've gone with Salah out of all the other alternatives with Son as well. It's quite a good combination put together. It's really hard to get that, actually, as I think that's why you've gone with cheaper differential picks.
Yeah, I mean, I like the team off the bat. Salah, Son, Madison, my popular picks. Instead of Hoyland, though, I still think Alvarez is being a bit slept on. Maybe I think Alvarez for me is still where I'd go if I'm looking for a striker around that 7 million mark. Also, Darwin. I know you've bought Darwin in. I still like Darwin as a differential pick over Hoyland. But again, Hoyland has the nailedness, I guess, where Darwin may miss a game or two when Jota and Gakpo are back from their suspensions and their injuries. Bruno Fernandes to Son and Foden to Diaby for a -4. I think I'd just do Bruno to Son if you can for free, because Diaby, there is slight doubts. I mean, he should play, but there is obviously slight doubts.
Yeah, the slight doubts about Diaby, so I'll be reluctant to do Foden to Diaby. I actually took Foden out myself, but that was for Darwin. But I think in your case, I'll probably keep Foden for that Arsenal game because he does do really well, Foden, against top teams, like he did against Newcastle. So I wouldn't put it past him if Foden can get something out of that game, as he is a decent player with qualities, and he does get chances to score, which he has had a lot of, but only one has gotten past the goalkeeper. So I think, yeah, I'll be reluctant to get rid of Foden, even though it's obviously Arsenal away, and keep him and just do the free transfer to Bruno to Son.
Hoyland over Alvarez. Nope, I'm going Alvarez, I think. Yes, lads, any news on Diaby? As far as I'm aware, there is no news surrounding Diaby. All we heard is that he should be fine, but again, it's not concrete information. Just looking on Twitter and stuff. I mean, I'd just play Diaby if you've got him. But it looks like he's not. He's likely to start, as far as I'm aware. That's what people are saying. But I'm not in the know.
I think he was seen in training.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
For him to start.
Yeah. Hopefully, anyway, for me, because I've got him. Would you consider taking Saka out for a -4 without Son Matters being an option to replace him? Saka, Arteta's annoying, isn't he? He always comes out and says Arteta's injured, but then he's fine every week.
Yeah, personally, I think Arteta's out over using Saka. He should be rested him, really. He should have rested him for that other competition game that Saka played in and went off injured in, because that's a big game, Man City now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just keep Saka because I think Saka will start. I think Arteta's just saying he was just bluffing. I know he does have a knock, but I can't see him not playing that game. So I know it's a tough one against Man City. I don't expect Arsenal to win. I mean, they could still score. Don't get me wrong, but I expect a tight game in that one. Roman as well with a comment. In my opinion, I think Luis Diaz can keep up with Salah. Ward-Prowse or Diaby. Diaby for me. Fired Madison captain or Haaland. Scared to go against Haaland. His record against Arsenal is good. Madison captain's interesting because Son is where I'd go potentially if I were looking for a Spurs captain this week. But yeah, what do you make of this? I mean, you've given your thoughts on Haaland, I guess.
Yeah, I've given my thoughts on Ireland. I'm sticking my guns to that. Yeah, Madison captain. I see more assists coming from Madison than goals because I see Son scoring most of the goals for Spurs. So I think I'll prefer captain Son over Madison. But in this case, I'll be going Haaland.
Yeah. Obviously, you're captaining Haaland this week. I'm not. Like, I'm not going Haaland. I know that's mad. I've been against Haaland already once this season, and I almost was punished heavily. He only got the one goal. I think it was the West Ham, the week they beat West Ham. But I think I'm going to have a change of mind. You know, more and more closer we get to the deadline, I'm leaning towards captaining Salah against Brighton, and I don't know why, because I feel like I've got triple Spurs. I've got Son and Madison, which is heavy on Spurs. If Spurs do well, I will still get points, and I feel like captaining is more like I'm doubling down on Spurs, taking. I should maybe spread my bets a bit and go with Salah. So if Liverpool do something good, and again, as I said, I think Brighton playing in that 90 minutes in the Europa League with their first team gives me some confidence. But if in your case, I think I'd be going Spurs captain over Haaland, and Jordan's said Haaland, so we disagree on this one. Kulusevski captain, not for me. I think Son or Madison. I think Son is the one I'd want to go.
Yeah, I think Kulusevski plays a bit more deeper now with the new additions to the midfield and the way obviously the team's set up now. It's not the same formation and attack that they showed before.
Differential punt. Luis Diaz. I think Garanch. That's the under 10% ownership. I think Luis Diaz against Brighton. It's not a bad fixture. Two defenders, 4 million or under. I think Lamptey, who's a 3.9 million, I think right now, and Taylor 3.9 million for Burnley if you just need cheap defenders on the bench.
Yep.
Lascelles, 3.9 million at Newcastle, should start due to Botman still being injured as another one.
Or Brantwaite for Everton, if you want to go there.
Yeah, it was always Brantwaite, I guess. I need to decide who to captain, honestly, because I've got it on Son, but I don't want to back the early kickoff.
Oh yeah, of course. Spurs play the early kickoff. That's I'm gonna be interested in that. I think I'd rather get that out of the way fixture for me not captaining Son, obviously, for that one. But early fixtures don't really go obviously always against you, because the last one was very high scoring if you went for Watkins.
Yeah.
The Aston Villa and Brighton one was a good fixture if you have Watkins.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Salah, the closer I get, as I said, I got 10 minutes to decide anyway. And I'm tempted to go Salah. Cheers, boys, says George Kent. Drew with a comment. Best 4.5 million defender to take. I have Burn, Udoji, Taylor, Cash. Best 4.5. Let me just check quickly who's the best 4.5. I mean, I was going to say Gabriel at Arsenal, but he's 4.7. 4.5. I mean, you've got some of the best ones already. Anyone that you recommend 4.5? I think Kufal at West Ham is one that I like.
Yeah.
Kufal at West Ham is decent. Luka Dean's 4.6 now, so you can't really say him.
Yeah,
Zuma.
Zuma.
if you want to get some clean sheets, maybe West Ham was their decent fixtures, and obviously he has a bit of a goal threat on headers, set pieces. I think Kufal for me.
Yeah, I mean, the West Ham and Aston Villa defenders look pretty good for fixtures long term to go for at 4.5 million.
Yeah, I'm just seeing who else really there is.
Yeah,
but
there's not many at 4.5 because of price rises and
yeah, Kufal. That's where I'd be going. Salah captain says fatality.
does this convince you? Us another Salah captain in the chat.
So, honestly, I think I've got a lot of Spurs players in my team. I've got 3. So it makes sense if I do go Salah. Because I've not got... I just expect Liverpool to bounce back. Especially after the loss against Spurs, the way it happened. I just think Liverpool could have a very good game against Brighton. And I could see some goals. And especially with Brighton themselves coming off that 6-1 loss, wasn't it, to Villa, and the fact that Estupinian is going to miss out that game. They're going to be playing Lamptey out of position in left back,
and they've not kept a clean sheet this season.
And if you take that into account, obviously their first team playing 90 minutes in the Europa League. I'm just going to see what the lineup was very quickly before I decide. They played Marseille. It was 2-2 in the end. Looking at the lineups, Veltman, Van Heck, Dunk, Lamptey played left back. Gross and Dahoud played in a double pivot. March, Fati, Matoma, Welbeck. It was a full 11. So Liverpool did rest pretty much a lot of their players. And yes, Brighton defense is poor, says Fatali.
Yeah, it's Stupinian missing that Brighton defense is very interesting because he's pretty much the best defender, I'll say, for Brighton now, missing out now.
Yeah, going forward.
Yeah.
But even defensively, Brighton will give you chances. And if there's any team that will capitalize on those type of chances, I do think it's Liverpool. But again, I don't know. What about Watkins as a punt? What about Watkins captain as a punt, says Chief?
Oof, against Wolves away. I don't know, because they look pretty good against Man City away. And because Watkins has Wolves away as well, they're hard to break down, I'll say, at home this season. Wolves. So I think it's going to be tough for Watkins to actually score in that game. I think it's going to be really tough for us Aston Villa, even though they came off that 6-1 win of Brighton.
You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going Salah. I think I'm going to captain Salah this week. And I'm going to go Son Vice. I'm going to save it. So last minute little change for you guys there. Just more I think of it. Son, it is the early kickoff. I don't really like backing the early kickoff 12:30 on a Saturday. And yeah, I think Luton might. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game, personally. Like, I think Spurs will win, but I don't think they're going to score 4 or 5. Look, I may be wrong, but we'll come back and see.
Well, Luton are going to defend heavily. Let's say they're going to put literally everyone at the back to stop Spurs, because Luton, I don't think are going to expect to be attacking, and really in that game it's going to be mostly Spurs in terms of possession and action.
Yeah, obviously we expect Luton to just sit in a low block, defend. Can't get Kufal, already have free West Ham. Then that's a free West Ham. Who's your free West Ham?
He's got James Ward-Prowse, Areola, and Mubama.
If you're on a wild card, I'd take Mubama out and bring in Archer. I think for 0.1 more. I think Archer's a better pick than Mubama, just because Archer's actually going to play minutes.
Yeah, Mubama hasn't played a single minute for West Ham.
Taking Haaland out and like the punt on Darwin. Wish me luck, lads. Yeah, we will wish you luck. Animations. Taking Haaland out, I should say, is a risky move, but
yeah,
I hope it pays off for you, mate.
Yeah, only way it pays off is Haaland blanking against Arsenal. That is the dream, I think, for those who don't have Haaland, is for him to blank. That's the only way.
If you've gone without Haaland, though, like, you're not going to get him back till when? because you look at Haaland's fixtures, they are quite tough. Like Arsenal, Brighton, Man United, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Spurs, all in the next 8 games or so. So let's say you do go without Haaland, like to everyone in the chat that are that have sold Haaland, when do you plan on getting him back? Because it's going to be interesting. But
Yeah,
Haaland's one of those players that he can score against any team, and you can't really, even in tough fixture, he's kind
yeah,
of fixture proof.
yeah. I'm just looking at game week 10. That Man United one, raising my eyebrows there. You guys going without Haaland in that game week 10 fixture, and Man United are still playing the way they are. I'll be very woeful on that fixture. Just to past memories, I think.
Another hat trick. Would you go
Yeah,
there?
yeah, I think so. I think so, indeed.
Yeah, look, yeah, I wouldn't want to go without it, but for those that have, it's going to be interesting to see what does happen. Is there anybody different you would have on a wild card if you did it for Game Week 9? No, not really. I don't think. I wouldn't be wildcarding in Game Week 9. If I've not gone in 8, then I'd wait till 10 because there's an international break, and then you could reassess if there's any injuries and whatnot. And there's also a bit more of a swing in Game Week 10, so I would wait till 10 if you don't go now. Are you guys locked? Are you locked in, Jordan, with your team? Is that 100% what you're doing? Any last minute captaincies, any changes or anything?
No changes, no different captain picks. I think that's pretty much locked. I've looked at it quite a few times now, and I
Yeah.
think the more I look at it, the more set I am on locking this wildcard team in. The only doubt I think is in Bremo. I think out of the rest of the players in my team, apart from that, I'm just going to play in Bremo because he does have a nice fixture after obviously Man United, and I think I'll hold him onto that with some faith. You can get something from Man United game.
Okay, nice one. So we are locked. Just for those that are tuning in, my team, my wildcard 8 team. I'll just read it out very quickly. Ariola, Burn, Cash, Porro. Midfield 5, Salah captain, Madison, Diaby, Neto, Son. Up top, I've gone Haaland and Watkins. On the bench, Trakoshka, Archer, Gabriel, Taylor. If you could do the same, please, Jordan.
Yeah, we've got Leno. He's got Sheffield United at home. The backfield through Doggy. He's got Luton away. Luca Dean's got Wolves away. Trippier's got West Ham away. In the midfield, we've got Madison, the Son, who both have Luton away. Bowen, who's Newcastle at home. Buemo, who has Man United away. Up front, we've got the 3 forwards. Darwin, who's got Brighton away. Watkins, Wolves away. And Haaland, Arsenal away, who's my captain. And on the bench, we've got Ariola, who's got Newcastle at home. Andreas has got Sheffield United at home. Brantford away. He's got Bournemouth at home. And Taylor's got Chelsea at home on the bench.
Okay, nice one. Again, so let's read the comments out. And we got about a minute left now, guys, to the deadline. So get your teams locked in. Any last minute captaincies, anything you have transfers. Make sure your bench order is in shape as well. And yeah, start Saliba or a Burnley defender. Who you start? Burnley have Chelsea. Saliba's got City.
I think I'll start Saliba, even though he's got Man City. Maybe get an attack and return from a corner. But yeah, I think I'll play him.
I'm going Burnley defender. I think Chelsea, they don't score many goals, so I'll just back Burnley to just maybe nick a 0-0 or something. So yeah, I'm gonna be different. I'm going back to Burnley, guys. And that's it, guys. It is 11 a.m. and that is the deadline. So yeah, that's our teams locked in. We'll quickly run the fixtures very quickly, and then we will wrap the stream up because yeah, I'm gonna share my screen now. So bear with me for a sec. Screen. All right, Jordan, we'll do a score prediction for some of the games, and then yeah, we'll discuss what we think how the games are gonna go. Quite a lot of fixtures today, actually. I didn't realize 6 games.
Yeah, another jam-packed day of fixtures. If that Luton Spurs game, I'm going to predict 2-0 Spurs.
You're going 2-0 Spurs?
Yeah.
Or who do you think's going to get the goals, though? You think Son?
Yeah. I think Son and Madison. Both of them score.
I mean, what am I going to predict for that game? I'm going to go for I'm going to agree, actually. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. I don't think it will be a massive, like, 4-5-0, like some people are maybe predicting, but I think 2-0 Spurs. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
Ooh.
I think Luton might get a goal, maybe Morris or something. I don't know. Next up, we've got Burnley at home to Chelsea. Do you reckon Chelsea carry on a bit of form, or Burnley get something from this game?
Yeah, I think Chelsea can get a bit. I think they have confidence after winning 2-0 against Fulham. I'm going to predict 1-0 Chelsea, though. It won't be high scoring.
1-0 Chelsea. I'll go the same. I'll go. You know what? I'm going to predict a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 Chelsea Burnley. I think Burnley will get a point here. Everton next up against Bournemouth at home. How do you see this one playing out?
I think both teams concede, but I see Bournemouth winning 2-1.
2-1 Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here as well. I think I can't really split these teams. I think Bournemouth. Actually, you know what? I might back Bournemouth 2-1 away win. I've not been impressed with Everton, so I'll back Bournemouth on the away win here. Next up, we've got Fulham at home to Sheffield. Fulham coming off that loss to Chelsea on Monday night, I believe. Do you see them winning here, or Sheffield get something?
Yeah, I feel strongly about Fulham at home, and Sheffield United struggling to get goals and form. So I'm going to go with Fulham win. I'm hoping a clean sheet because I've got Leno, so I'm going to go with 2-0 Fulham.
2-0 Fulham, nice. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Fulham. Clean sheet probably as well, I think. Next up, your team, Man United at home to Brentford. As Man United, he lost. Was it last game was against Palace, wasn't it? In a 1-0 loss.
Yeah.
That was at Old Trafford as well. Do they bounce back? Obviously, they had a loss in the Champions League as well. It's becoming a bit of a. Every game is big now, really, for Man United. They need to get the 3 points to get it. Do they get it against Brentford?
No, I don't think they will against Brentford. I can see a draw in this game. I think 2-2.
Okay, 2-2. Interesting. So high scoring one from you. And Mbeumo, you reckon that's why you've kept him?
Yeah, I'm keeping the faith in Mbeumo, whether he gets this goal from open play or maybe a penalty. Hopefully.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I actually don't think Man United will get the win. I'm going for a 1-1. I think Brentford, they have had a few underwhelming results recently, Brentford, but I think this is the game where they'll bounce back, and I think they may nick a point here at Old Trafford, and the misery, I think, will continue potentially for Ten Hag. Palace next at home to Nottingham Forest. It looks like Eze's out. I think that's confirmed, 6 weeks or whatever I read. Do you see Palace winning against Forest, or do you think Awoni has something for Palace?
Yeah, I think Nottingham Forest have a good team going forward against Crystal Palace, who have lost a lot of nice players like Eze in the team. So it's going to be hard for them to stop Awoni as well. I'm going to go for Nottingham Forest win, and I'm going to go with 2-0 Nottingham Forest.
I'll back the home side. I think I'm going to go Palace. I'll go 2-1 Palace to get the home win. Yeah, even though Eze's out, I think they'll somehow get the job done. So that's the Saturday fixtures out the way. We've got another 4 fixtures on Sunday, which is tomorrow, obviously. We're back tomorrow streaming as well, 7 p.m. UK time for the Knee Jerk stream. So make sure you do tune in for the Knee Jerk stream. First up, we've got Brighton against Liverpool. Brighton being at home. How do you see this one going? It's an interesting one. Both teams played obviously on Thursday as well.
Yeah, I do see a Liverpool win, I think, in this game. I think losing their defender, Estupiñán, is a big miss for Brighton defence. But their attack still looks good, so I won't go against them not scoring against Liverpool. But I'm going to go for Liverpool win, and I'm going to go with 3-1 Liverpool.
Okay, I mean, that's the score I was actually going to say myself, because I don't expect maybe Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. I think Liverpool probably will concede. but I expect Liverpool to put a couple past Brighton. I think Darwin is one to watch. I think he could get on the score sheet. So yeah, I'll back Liverpool away win. I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool. Hopefully Salah. I'd love a Salah hat trick or for FPL reasons. I've gone captain Salah, so I need something big from him. But we'll see. Next up, West Ham against Newcastle, which is a pretty tasty fixture as well on Sunday. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a high scoring fixture going forward here, with West Ham being really good now this season. Newcastle looking better than ever as well. So I'm going to go with, it's going to be tough. I'm going to go with draw actually with this one. I'm going to go with 2-2, I think.
2-2. Yeah, it's hard to call this one because I've been impressed with West Ham. Newcastle obviously had a brilliant win in the Champions League against PSG as well in the midweek. I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I think West Ham will get a point here at home. Maybe the likes of Ward-Prowse, Bowen's obviously looking good this season so far. So yeah, I'll back West Ham 1-1 draw. Next up, we've got Wolves against Villa. Do you see, Watkins repaying all the new owners that he has after his hat-trick against Brighton, or do you see a bit of frustration in this game for Aston Villa and Wolves? Aston Villa against Wolves.
I think Aston Villa can still get the win, but it's not going to be easy. Wolves at home, because defensively they are pretty good, like we saw with Man City struggling to break down that Wolves defence. So I still think Aston Villa can get the win though, but I don't think it'll be a high scoring one like we saw against Brighton. I'm going to go with 2-1 Aston Villa. I think they can just about nick a 3-pointer from Wolves.
I'm going to go with I'll go 2-1 actually as well, Aston Villa, but I'm predicting Ollie Watkins blank. I think Ollie Watkins might get an assist, but I don't think he'll score. But I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. And then finally, the big one on the weekend, biggest fixture of this game week, Arsenal at home to Man City in an early, I don't know if it's a title decider or not title decider, obviously, because long way to go, but it will have impact on that conversation. So will Man City get the win here, or do you think Arsenal will get something here?
I still think Man City can nick a win or maybe a draw from this actually. I don't think it's a convincing win because it is going to be a tough game for us, for Man City away at the Emirates. So I'm gonna go with 3-2 Man City. I think they can
3-2 goals then.
Yeah, a lot of goals in this one, I think.
See, I'm gonna go Man City to win, but I think it will be tough for Man City, especially with obviously KDB's not fit, as we know he's not been fit, and he usually tends to have a very good game against Arsenal. But I'm gonna go 2-1 Man City. I think they'll have just enough to win. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, but I think Man City will, especially after losing against Wolves last week. I can't see Man City losing 2 in a row. Look, we'll see though, but I expect them to bounce back and get the win over Arsenal in a tight 2-1. But that's it from us in terms of score predictions, and I think that's it from us for the stream. We're going to wrap it up here. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that has watched, that has tuned in. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button on the video. Also, make sure you are subscribed to our channel as well. We're back tomorrow, 7 o'clock to review Game Week 8 and how it's gone. And that should be a good stream. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you're subscribed. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we do head out?
Just thank you guys for watching throughout the deadline stream. It's always appreciated. Good luck with your teams, whatever your plans are, especially the non-Haaland owners. Fingers crossed for you guys. But yeah, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the football, and we'll see you tomorrow for obviously our reaction to Game Week 8.
Thank you guys. Peace out.